Good afternoon, everybody. Jay Deuscher here with I.C.E, Inspire, Collaborate, and Encourage. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different. It was pre-recorded. We had some scheduling conflicts both last week and this week. So we did get a pre-recorded episode with Carrie Sorensen from Mankato Movers. So our episode today is going to be us talking to him about our three keywords: inspire, collaborate, and encourage. And I will just get started on that, and then I will be back at the end to talk to you about next week. So here we go.
This is the year you move. This is the year you take that next step. Whether you're starting out, starting over, or starting something new, you need a local moving company that you can trust. We're Mankato Movers. We're your hometown moving resource, and we'll get you there. Call or email about our pre-move service today.
Welcome, everyone, to this week's podcast of I.C.E. I.C.E stands for Inspiration or Inspire, Collaborate, and Encourage, and is the brainchild of my wife, Tanya, and I. This is a weekly podcast that we typically host live, but also have available for replay on our I.C.E Facebook page and our I.C.E YouTube channel. Each week, we interview a guest or guests that we feel or felt had an interesting story to tell about our three key words: inspire, collaborate, and encourage. During this most recent stay-at-home orders of the COVID-19 virus, both Tanya and I found comfort and knowledge in others. The podcasts we watched were from others in our industry or business coach style individuals, but also from general people that just had a positive outlook on not only business, but in life in general. We are excited to bring this to you each week at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time on Thursdays. We will also have the ability in many presentations for you to ask the general public, to ask questions of our guests. So without further ado, let us get to today's I.C.E guest. Our I.C.E guest this week is a career moving man, and not that he moves from home to home, but that his company moves people from home to home. Carrie Sorensen, the owner of Mankato Movers and Owatonna Movers, grew up in the southwestern Minnesota community of Ivanhoe, Minnesota. Carrie is one of my best friends, and I am stoked to get to interview him today. Welcome, Carrie.
Hey, thanks for having me, Jay.
Yeah, not a problem. Not a problem. I hope your day has gone well, and I appreciate you joining us. I will occasionally be looking off screen because I got the questions on one screen and obviously you on the other. So don't think that I'm trying to avert my eyes from you. You're a handsome guy, so. All right, let's get this thing started. Your business background has really become, really for you, has come from the inspiration to be your own boss. I think that's probably true for all of us that are entrepreneurs. And with that flexibility and sense of achievement, entrepreneurs all experience in various ways, that inspiration. Tell us what a typical day for you is like.
I've given that question quite a bit of thought, and I guess the typical day, you're up early, you get in here, you go over the paperwork and that kind of stuff. From actually the night before that, you call the customers, you confirm the move, and you do the dispatching, talking with the guys of what the needs might be. Calling the customer the day before if there is high value items or exorbitant amount of TVs or different supplies that they're going to need, that kind of stuff. So we get that squared away and get the guys going, and then get them on site usually between 8:15 8:30, and that I call that the firing range. So the guys are on site, and usually in the next 45 minutes or an hour is when I'm going to have to put out fires if anything happens. Because we never know what's going to happen in a customer's life. They could have a really great week and they could be ready to go. And maybe something happened in their life and they didn't get anything done. So that's a fire. Guys,
Or they forgot to tell you about that 2,000-pound gun safe or something like that.
That's true. It's true. It happens more times than what you think. But you know, to be able to problem solve and to be able to take care of those unforeseen needs that a customer, you know, dumps on you is I think where my guys excel, and they just do a great job. They take direction really well. They listen to the customer. You know, they're very conscientious about what they do. You know, I'm a lucky guy to have the employees that I have. You know, and they go out, trudge through the day, and they make it happen, and they get it done every day. And then they come back. I go out and check the trucks and make sure that things are clean, ready to go. You know, make sure the time cards have punch in, punch out. Go over the guys if there's any concerns, any equipment that failed or that is failing or needs to be replaced. And that's really, you know, kind of the short version of it. But there's a lot more that goes on in between there that the guys help me out with, and you know, they make me look pretty good.
Well, and I've jokingly said it to you in the past that to be a moving man or to be a mover, you really got to be like expert level Tetris and an expert level logistics guy, because that's what you're doing. I mean, you're doing logistics and you are playing Tetris in the back of your truck, trying to get everything pieced in there right so that you can get it all fit in there. So, no, that's awesome. You have a unique situation in that you have not only a solid business in Mankato Movers and Owatonna Movers that can stand alone, but this spring you also picked up a full-time job. So tell us about that job and what your responsibilities for that are.
So I had a couple of individuals approach me about being a general manager of a storage facility, and my gut reaction right away was no, I don't want to, you know, do. I got way too much going on and that kind of stuff. But you know, they were talking about it and that kind of stuff. And then we had a couple of meetings, and my wife joined me in the meetings, and we discussed things. And hard to believe, but you know, my wife is the brains of this outfit. I just reach tall things and carry heavy stuff. But talking things over with her, this was a good move for us. I mean, it was something that you know, we could offer the customer climate controlled storage. And for the people that don't know, they took the old Lowe's building in Mankato, Minnesota, and they turned it into climate controlled storage. You can literally pull a semi truck into the facility, and it's 65 degrees in January, and it is state of the art. Technology is absolutely incredible. I have been in every single state in my career, driven over 2.2 million miles, and this is the nicest storage facility I've ever been in. It's nice. All Bluetooth activated. You get in and out of the facility via your phone. You open your storage unit, unlock it with your phone. It's just fantastic. I mean, everybody thinks I know a lot about this facility, and all I do is I just go around and I tell them what it is. You know, this no key system, this is what it is. This is what it does. I just give them the information, and it sells itself. It's fantastic. They did extraordinary research when they built this facility, and they did it right. You know, there's a loading area in the front and the back, an elevator in the front and the back. And we operate Mankato Movers out of the back of the facility. And we have, you know, places for the trucks, and we still have little set off areas if we need to hold on to something overnight. It's secure. You know, so thinking of the facility and doing the things that they did, there's some thought process in making us comfortable back there too. And to be able to offer moving services to bring somebody into a storage facility, I think we might be the first one that have done it in the state for sure, but might be the country.
Awesome. Well, and I've obviously, you know, I saw it when it was a concrete floor and pillars and roof,
did.
You know,
and trucks in here.
Yeah. And then obviously, you know, I've been through it now since it's been built. And you're right, the technology is very impressive. In fact, I think about the only thing that you can't do from your phone is flush the toilet, and maybe that's an upgrade that we can, check into.
In the
But
future.
give the name. I don't know that you gave the name. Give the name of the storage facility, please.
It's Store It, and it's the website design is some by another person that we know that's in our BNI group, Carla Marshall, did a great job on that. But storeitmn.com, and this is one of the best websites that I've ever been able to go on there. It's easily to function. You go on there, it methodically walks you through exactly what you need to do. There's a little kind of like a Build-A-Bear thing on there, so you can put your bed and your sofa, all that stuff in there. So then it'll calculate exactly what size unit you need, and then
Right.
it'll walk you over to the unit. You can book it. It'll fill everything out. It'll text you the app right to your phone. You download it. You don't even have to walk through our front door to rent this unit. I mean, it's as convenient
It's all
as anything
no
that I've ever seen.
contact, which in this,
In
current
this
situation in
day and
the
age,
COVID.
right now,
Yep.
I mean, this is a really key thing that people can book their unit on the far corner of the building if they want,
Right.
and that minimal contact thing is an important thing at this time.
Yeah. No. And how many units all total do you guys have there?
So we have 657 units.
Okay.
All sizes. We have 5x3s all the way up to 10x30s. There's 2 levels, like I said, elevator and loading areas in the back and the front. And we were hoping to, we were kind of shooting for maybe 150 to 200 tenants, at the 18-month mark, something like that. It's kind of hard to gauge that. I've never run a storage facility before, but with the research and the things that I was looking up, it seemed like a plausible goal. We're at 120 tenants and 146 units that are occupied currently.
Already.
And that came down about 50 because of the students that come in. They have to vacate, for those 2 weeks, and then they get their new lease and that kind of stuff. So we had 50 other students that came in and out of here in that time too. So we're holding pretty strong and holding our own, and it's just it's one of those things. The guys did it right. They got the right people involved for advertising, and the website works, and the movers, they do a great job.
Yeah. Well, and one of the cool things too, I know this wasn't a question, but I'll bring it up real quick because I know you were integral in it, is the fact that, okay, people can hire Mankato movers, Owatonna movers. You guys can do the move. You guys can do the packing and loading. I know that you've got your pre-move service, I believe is what you call it, that you can come out ahead of time and do some things. But you also partnered up with Store It, and you guys have a shared truck. So if somebody's adamant that they just want to, move themselves, but they don't have the truck, instead of going to U-Haul or something like that, they can come to you guys and they can outsource that truck from you. Correct?
Yeah. So it just kind of fell into our lap, the whole situation with that, and just collaboratively, talking about it. It's like, I think it's important that there is a lot of do-it-yourselfers out there. The people that come in and they book this online and they do this whole thing, they see the free truck and that kind of stuff that you can use, to move your items into the facility. Then it's a email or a phone call away, and you sign up and have the truck. You drop off your insurance and your license, and you got a free truck to use to move your stuff to the facility. And
No, that's you never heard of that kind of stuff.
It's really important to some people, and
Yeah,
I'm glad we do it.
that's just something you never even heard of. Probably, I don't know, 5-10 years ago. I mean, I've moved a few times in my life, and I know I would have jumped all over that opportunity to if I was going to rent from XYZ storage unit, that I get to use a truck for free. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. All right, let's get back to, we got off topic there a little bit. So between essentially 2 full-time jobs as a manager and a business owner, your workers and employees must be on point from a collaborative standpoint to help you ensure the days go smoothly for the customers of both companies. Anything special you do? Any team building exercises? anything like that?
We have done things. I mean, one of your sponsors is the Wobble Zone, and Pam Demar's out there. We've had a couple of get-togethers out there. Um, we're a special breed of people as movers, and I'm cautious about talking about this kind of thing, but I know, Jay, you know us and you can
Yeah.
relate, because this stuff in the service industry, it's either in you or it's not,
Right.
and if it is, you can't take it out of you. I mean, you have to use it, otherwise you just don't feel right. You need to exercise that talent that God's given you. Otherwise you just feel like you're being wasteful.
Right.
But back to the team building and stuff. So we had a bowling contest, and then we had the miniature golf contest, and
Nice.
then we had the laser tag contest. Guess which one got out of hand?
Probably the laser tag, I would
Yeah.
imagine.
So this is something that we're both familiar with. We were both athletes in our past, and that competitiveness, and to one up the next guy and that kind of stuff. I mean, it's really fun for the guys to be able to go out, cut loose, and enjoy themselves, and get on that level where you can trust that guy to carry the other end of a gun safe or a triple dresser, and at the same time you can sit down and you can compensate with them as just somebody outside of work, as a coworker, and everybody gets along that way. But my guys, they do a great job with problem solving.
They
They'll
do. Yep.
evaluate the situation, they'll give me a call, and they'll say, hey, this is what's happening. We got this option or this option, which would you like us to do? So he or the individual is pretty much solving it, but he wants to know what I think is best for the business. And I really appreciate that, because if something happens and I've made the decision, well, then I'm on the hook for it.
Right. Yep. No, I completely agree with you. I mean, you guys have we've used your services twice now, I think, and without a doubt, you guys have been top notch every time that we've used you. So, tell us about a person or persons whom have been the biggest inspiration in your life, and what lessons did you take from them?
I have a few, but my parents, just growing up in a house where every time I turned around, they were working their tails off, and I thank God that I've gotten to the point I have, and I have the vision that I do now, to look back and to see everything they did was for us.
Right.
Every single thing they did,
Never made any sense at the time.
no, it sure didn't. And there's sometimes I thought I was a little smarter, but I wasn't even almost close, and still not. But I might have had to wear my brother's shoes or pants once in a while and that kind of stuff. But it was they gave us the best they could every day they could.
Yeah.
And my dad worked on the farm, and then he worked at the Ivanhoe elevator. My mom worked at the Ivanhoe newspaper, the Ivanhoe Times, and then she was a mom. And being a mom of Sorensen boys is, I think moms should get a absolutely free ride right into heaven. There's no question. But my mom should be on
Don't.
the chariot.
What is it? Do not pass. Do not pass go, but instead of going to jail, they go straight to heaven.
Yeah. No,
I'd vote for that.
Yeah.
I'm on board with that. Yeah. Aside from myself, these last couple of years, who do you feel most grateful for in life, and how has collaborating with them made you who you are today?
My wife. When we first got together, I knew that this was a killer deal. It was absolutely something special, and she asks me the tough questions, even though I might not like it at times. She's the most practical person that I know, and she reminds me of my mom a lot when it comes to that selflessness, self-sacrifice, and she will do what's right. Her integrity will never waver, and to have the support that I do from her is is something a lot of people probably don't aren't familiar with. It's something that's hard to explain, but I know
Right.
that she's got my back, and if I'm wrong, she's going to tell me I'm wrong. She's
Hmm.
still going to listen to me talk about it wrong, but she'll still tell me, you're still wrong, but you can keep talking. And at the end, it's like you're still wrong, but she'll still love me and let me do things the hard way, as long as it gets done. But like I said, she's the brains of this outfit, and I get a lot of my answers from her because, well, honey, you're always right.
Well, so now when this is posted and it's on replay, the next time you get in trouble, you can just go to the YouTube channel or to the Facebook page and just isolate that segment there, and just
Yeah,
keep put it on loop somehow and endlessly for her.
right.
Is the inspiration to be a business owner a result of lessons you have learned in life, or what was your
It
inspiration to be a business owner?
it was just kind of the next step, um, and where I was headed in the trajectory of being a mover and that kind of stuff. I mean, I kind of ran my own business before being an owner operator and traveling through the country, driving a semi truck and moving people, but it just seemed like it was the next step, and again, talking it over with my wife and thinking, hey, we're pushing 50 and we're going to open up a moving company, and yeah, so we dove in and got to it, and everything that I did before, in the trucks, and scheduling my own guys when I was an owner operator, and that kind of stuff. I mean, it's something I probably could have done a long time ago, but it was just one of those things that the time was right, and it was, it was the right move for us. And in turn, throughout the years, all of my kids have been on the truck with me. They've all worked for me. They've always, they've all worked with me. And to say it was the goal, I don't think I really set that out to be the goal. It just got to that point where
Just kind of happened.
yeah, it was the next step, and it was time.
Um, Share with us what has been your proudest moment, both personally and professionally.
Um, Personally, being a dad, I got 5 kids that teach me stuff every single day. My oldest son, just went through a little bit of a situation where he lost his job, and he came and he was working for me for a little while, and just how he was organizing things and that kind of stuff. I just try to pay attention to that, and I picked up a couple of things there, and just how he methodically goes through his day, and how he problem solves in comparison to me. And there's not ever one right way of going about something, and
Hmm.
I learned that from him. My second oldest son, Jordan, is just pure grit, determination, and full throttle. He's literally, I think right now, he's the shortest of all 3 of my boys, and he's the only one that played college football.
Oh
And
wow.
4 years at Gustavus, and he got some great playing time and one touchdown, and it happened right down in front of my mom and dad at the game they were able to see,
Nice.
on a homecoming. So it's little things like that, that hard work, gives you those little treats and that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So
Awesome.
my
How about
oldest,
professionally?
what's that?
How about professionally?
Professionally, just being able to get up in the morning and have the guys show up and like what they do. I mean, this is a taxing job. This is really tough, and it's not for everybody. I mean, I do interviews, and I'll tell we've had MSU football players walk in here, and they deadlifted at the front of their Jeep outside. I mean, picked it up, smile at you strong. But you put them on the other end of a dresser and they're going up and down stairs, and you got to keep your balance. You got to work with somebody else. Sometimes it's just not for everybody. So, just being proud of the guys that I've been able to train and to have them be a part of my company, and they want to make a living here. And, it's just awesome to be able to provide for a guy that's willing to sacrifice so he can provide for his family.
Right. Yeah. No, good point. When you were in high school, when you were a high school standout as an Ivanhoe Eagle, what did you want to be growing up, and how has that been different than where you have ended up in life?
I wanted to go to the Army. My aunt and uncle were in the Army. They were career military. My brother was in the military. My uncle was. We've had a lot of it in the family, and that's what I wanted to do. And
Awesome.
as I was getting closer and closer, I just knew that wasn't what I wanted to be doing. And so I changed that up, and I wanted to paint cars and work on cars, and I still love that today. And so I went to school for that, and I got into painting, and I got all the way down to Winona, Minnesota, and I was in a paint booth, 10, 15 hours a day sometimes. And my brother-in-law at the time said, that stuff's gonna kill you. You gotta get out of there. And we were not making real great money, but I liked what I did. So he had me go and work for him a couple of weekends over in Eau Claire, and I made $150 in 2 days. And in 1991, that was
good money. Yeah.
And so I thought, I think I could do this. And shortly after that, we were moving up to Lakeville, working for Barrett Moving and Storage. It was the United Van Lines agent, and as you know, the rest is history.
The rest is history. Yeah. From an encouragement standpoint, how do you want people to remember you? That would encourage them to go in, to whatever profession.
If you want something, go work for it. I mean, if you're going to set a goal, set it and go get it. This life doesn't owe anybody anything. I mean, I grew up with a house full of brothers and sisters, and I don't know how my mom and dad did it, but somehow we had shoes on our feet, we had food in our stomachs, we had a roof over our mouth. You never would have known the struggles that they had. They just made it work, and that's it. I mean, don't have a pity party. Be part of the solution, and figure out a way to make it happen, Captain.
Each week you're collaborating with friends, family, and your professional occupation. Is there one of those three that you find easier to collaborate with more than the other?
They're all equally important, but I'm in a B&I group, and I learn a lot there. And one of the things that and we'll probably get off here a little bit, but I get my inspiration from you. You've had a heart attack. You have had some health issues. You have struggled, and you keep righting the ship. You stay at the helm. You collaborate with your wife, and you're in our business networking group every week. I mean, you're as steady as the mail, and it's one of those things. It's like
I'm probably as broke as the post office too, but I know what you're saying.
But I mean, if a Lake Benton Bobcat can go through a heart attack and he can do it, by golly, I should be able to.
Thanks. For the record, you went there first. What does the future for Kerry Sorensen look like, and for the future of both Mankato and Owatonna Movers?
Hopefully bright. I mean, if things are going if they keep going the way they're going right now, I mean, in 2017, we took a shot in the dark and we launched this moving company, and there was doubt. I mean, there was a couple of times I thought, oh man, this might not have been the best, but I got to figure this out. And where do we advertise? What do we do? That kind of thing. But making the right decisions, hiring the right people, being involved in the right organizations and the right people, and then other people start surrounding you because you're part of a good situation. And I'm just lucky enough that we had a couple of guys that took a shot at me and put me in a storage facility, and now we have this great facility we get to run out of and stuff like that. Hopefully we can keep putting another moving company in the next facility that they open up, or whatever. But I would love for Owatonna Movers to be pushing as much revenue and hiring as many guys as Mankato Movers has right now, and to be able to help the economy and that kind of stuff. I mean, we're the only mover for New Perspective right now. We're it. And to be able to help a community like that, it does something for the guys. They just love moving retirees and assisted living places and that kind of stuff, because those people appreciate it the most. Guys get tips quite a bit, but when we move grandpa and grandma or the retiree, we get tips like cookies, bread, and that kind of stuff. Because
apple pie, cherry pie.
This is what these people do the best.
Right.
They make these cookies, but they think they're the best, and they want to give that to you because they appreciate that. So if the guys couldn't do that, they just wouldn't be the same. They love it.
Yeah, I remember that from my youth through my teenage years and up until seniors, is the paper boy. I mean, Christmas was always awesome, because at Christmas virtually everybody gave you a gift on the paper route. And the only gift that I really didn't care for was chocolate covered cherries, because they just weren't my thing. Yeah. And so my dad would trade me out. He didn't mind the chocolate covered cherries. So initially I would soak him for a couple bucks, and then I realized after a few years that he was driving me around every morning in the wintertime to deliver the newspaper. I could afford to just give him a few boxes of chocolate covered cherries at Christmas. So
good call.
Yeah. 30 years from now, you are still looking as ravishing then as you are now. What inspiration does great grandpa Carey share with the kids at Christmas about life to help shape their futures?
Be generous. Be generous with your time, with your talent. Take a minute and help the guy out, help the gal out. Whatever they're doing. There's times that I won't charge for a couple of boxes or something, just because it's a single mom, single dad. We're doing something special next Thursday for a guy that we know, Mitch Allure, and his little boy Maddox. We ran into a family that lost their son. He was military, and it was self-inflicted, and we've had that in our family. And I was just drawn to them, and of course, Maddox and his situation. I thought, this is something that just happens once in a while. So we're donating the proceeds for that move to Maddox. Okay. And we're going to have the family there. We're going to do it in their son's name, and just to make awareness to, there's things out there and that kind of stuff. And when somebody needs a helping hand, I mean, it doesn't cost you anything to help somebody out. Stick your hand out and help them up. And of course, now day and age, you hand sanitize afterwards, but
well, before and afterwards,
just be generous, leave your judgment at home and go out and address every day like you want to make a difference.
Great advice. All right, I've got some quick hitters here. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, 1985. Do you remember that year? I'm going to guess you were what, sophomore?
I graduated when I was 90. So that would have been.
You graduated in 90. Oh, yeah. Seventh grader. All right. Well, 1985, Ivanhoe School closes down, shuts down, no longer in business. Your dad comes home and says you got two choices. You can either be a Tyler Dane or a Lake Benton Bobcat. Which way do you go?
So this is going from the standpoint that I have no idea what happens after 1985. Because RTR was a powerhouse, and I could have been a senior there when Todd Bauman was a junior. So I might have taken RTR, but you guys had a good football team, so I probably would have went to Lake Benton.
Ah, a Bobcat. There we go. Now I got the truth out of you. Would you have been okay with being a Lincoln High Rebel, or was the Ivanhoe Hendricks thing too much for you?
You know, we did run track and stuff together my last couple of years, so I think it would have been all right with it. I think if they would have just dropped it on us, I think it would have been a little bit more difficult, but I think it would have warmed up to it. I had some pretty good friends over in Hendricks too, so would have been all right.
Who was the best sibling in the family when it came to sports? And do you see the competition in your upbringing of your own children?
Oh man, I think sheer determination was probably my younger brother Artie. Pure talent, I think, was my older brother Dean. Competitiveness, it's a lot better than it was. But before, I mean, you get us on the basketball court or something like that, things, yeah, they could get out of hand in a hurry. And of course, now that we're older, we pay it for 7 to 20 days afterwards, you know.
Yeah. Well, and this isn't at you, but I'm hoping that Artie will eventually watch this episode, and I'll just point out in case he forgot that we Lake Benton Bobcats were the champions over the Ivanhoe Eagles in the junior high basketball tournament held in Ivanhoe. So that means we defeated them on their own home court. But that's for Artie, not you.
Yeah.
What I've always wondered this. Obviously, in Lake Benton, the hangout spot really was kind of Veery's gas station.
Yeah.
And I know you had a Veery's also in Ivanhoe. I think the family was loosely connected. But what was the hangout spot in Ivanhoe? Was it Veery's, or was it the bowling alley, or what was it?
You know, I mean, there was sometimes it was Veery's unless the word got out that everybody was hanging at the bowling alley. But most of the time, we were down at the park. You know, the pool at the park. I mean, they had,
Yep.
You know, the city, you know, they manufactured this double layered basketball rim, and they put it at about 8.5 feet. And there wasn't ever a time that I remember growing up that you couldn't walk down there and start shooting baskets, and you'd have a a grip of people show up there, and everybody's playing a game, and it was really good times down there.
All right, last question, and it better be an honest one. I'm going to hold you to this. Were you ever involved in hazing of another school district by, say, painting the school rock or leaving a porta potty on the school grounds? And I'm just asking for a friend.
You're cutting out. I'm having a tough time hearing you all of a sudden. Is it on your end or is it on my end?
The school rock painting thing. I remember that being a big deal. In the '90s, and then somewhere there in the late '80s and '90s, and then I remember all of a sudden in probably like around 91, maybe even 90. I don't know, that a porta potty started showing up on school grounds at various schools. And you look back at that and you laugh now, and then you wonder,
right,
gee, what would society do now if you did that? Somebody would lose their gourd over it, kind of a deal. So
no, for sure.
All right. You didn't answer that, just for the record.
Let me ask you something. What is it that keeps Jay Deutscher getting up in the morning and going to work and pursuing, the goals that you set on a weekly or daily basis?
For me, it's probably twofold. Number one, it's some of these guys that you've seen walking around behind me, and that's my employees. I take a lot of pride in helping provide my employees with a means for an occupation, to be able to raise their families, their kids, that type of a deal, their dogs if they don't have kids, and then our customers. So I really do, for the vast majority of the standpoint, enjoy the customer experience, just like you were talking earlier about the guys getting, whether it's a conversation with a veteran or, the apple pie or whatever, getting to have those conversations, getting to know your clients and your customers so well that as soon as you see something, you can go, Carrie is going to buy this. I know it. I mean, and not because I want to get more money out of Carrie, but because I know that's something in the mindset that you would really like to add or like to have for your company or for your guys or for your customers, kind of a deal. So for me, it's twofold: customers and my employees. So
Awesome.
good. You weren't supposed to ask me questions, you
I know.
jerk. All right. Well, that's the last of the questions I have. So I want to thank you, Carrie, for being our guest today and sharing your story here on ICE with us. You continue to be an unbelievable friend to Tanya and I, and we wish nothing but the best to you personally and professionally, both with Mankato Movers and Owatonna Movers and with Store It. I think the future is very bright for your company and very bright for you. And don't forget to go back and isolate that segment about Stacy in this, so that way you can use that to get out of the doghouse. So thank you. Thanks for being with us today, Carrie.
Hey, thanks for having me, bud. I appreciate it.
All right. Talk to you later.
Yeah.
All right. We would like to thank our sponsors for today's episode. Gracie B. Doodle is a new up-and-coming online store and providing graphic design for social media, decorated apparel, sublimation, all of those things, from digital papers to sublimation blanks. Gracie B. Doodle is a great resource for the crafters or the professional shops online at www.graciebdoodle.company.site. Also, the Visual Identity Vault, located in the heart of historic downtown Fairmont. TVIV is a full-service decorated apparel provider with screen printing, embroidery, sublimation, and more, and also offered our signs, banners, design services, paper printed products, promotional items, and custom gifts. With 4,000 plus square feet of retail space, with the help of Carrie and his guys helping us fill this place up a little bit, we've got some great deals for everyone, young to old. TVIV also offers a variety of different fundraising opportunities for your groups needing to earn some extra cash for that special trip. Contact TVIV today at sales@tvivmn.com or online at www.tvivmn.com. The Wow Zone Family Entertainment Center, located in Mankato, Minnesota, is a 24 state-of-the-art bowling lanes, as well as a 2-level laser tag arena, mini golf, video games, snack bar, sports bar, and a full restaurant. Bring a few or bring them all, the Wow Zone can fit them all. And are you looking to travel either domestically or internationally? Call Jana Hughes at Travelooza to book your next vacation. From weekends to resorts or cruises, Jana and her team are ready and waiting to get you back on your feet, headed for the sun and sand. Call 1-888-689-0660. On behalf of Tanya. All right, everybody. Thanks again for tuning in to today's ICE episode. Just two quick sponsors here at the end, because that was a pre-recorded episode. River Valley Dental, located in Mankato, Minnesota, provides their patients with the most current treatment using the latest dental technology. Dr. Tom Pooley and his team offer services ranging from general preventative care to restorative care. They're now offering cosmetic treatment paired with their med spa. At River Valley Dental, you're never just another set of teeth. You're a face with a name and a history. It is their privilege to serve you and guide you to your dental goals. River Valley Dental, your smile, our passion. And lastly, Gemini Studios, the leading production video company in southern Minnesota based out of downtown Fairmont. Gemini Studios offers many services such as VHS to DVD transfers, picture scannings to CD, advertising, commercials, voiceover recording, educational informational videos, live streaming special, and school events. If interested in any of their services, please call them at 507-235-5190. And as I had started to say at the end of the recorded, thanks for tuning in today. This kind of wraps things up. Next week, we will be back to having live guests again. Not that Carrie was dead, just pre-recorded. And we thank him for being on ICE this week, as well as being one of our primary sponsors. So remember, inspire, collaborate, and encourage. Find something positive in your day. Don't focus on any negative. Thanks. Have a great day.